Ripley? I am JP. I'm an alien isolation modder.
I've played it before.
It's about Mother VR.
It's a great experience,
We want to play it again, Amanda.
but it was missing something.
I have implemented full 6DO pan tracking on top of the already impressive Mother VR mod.
What?
It's for real.
And controller tracking works.
Well, it's in beta testing right now, but we would like you to try it. We know you wanted motion controls with alien isolation before knee brace stopped work. It's on Mother VR.
Sounds pretty cool.
Links in the description. I have been authorized to allow you to download it and try it out. We're going to travel out.
We?
Me and another exec. And you, if you're willing. Look, Ripley. I know what motion controls mean to you. I read the case history. I know. You longed for them when you played with an Xbox controller. I can offer you another playthrough. The way it was meant to be experienced in full 6DO VR. Maybe there'll be some closure for you.
VRified Games.
All visitors must report to reception.
My mama done told me there be no monsters up in this piece. But there is. Yes, it's mostly me coming out at night. Mostly.
I see you guess what we're playing at.
And I sure did. Alien Isolation. All up in the Mother VR.
Well, not quite.
Huh?
Hello? My name's Ripley, Amanda Ripley. I need your help.
Please take a seat. Someone will be with you shortly.
No wonder Seegson is losing the tech race.
Always there, always helpful, always
Well,
working for
yes,
you.
it is Mother VR, but it's enhanced a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. Suppose you could call it a grand Mother VR.
Oh.
Yep. Thanks to the efforts of Modder JP, we now have 6 DOF motion controls enabled.
We do?
Yeah. So I can aim and shoot in any direction. Same with my motion tracker. I can literally position it anywhere and it tracks objects as it should. And that's no easy feat, Ed. I mean, there is no SDK for this game. It's a proprietary engine. This is all done through backwards engineering. That's not easy at all.
Damn.
Yeah, and not only that, but the mod Other has also fixed the UI to include VR button prompts and also has gone ahead and fixed bugs and issues.
Can I help you?
I need to get into comms control. It's urgent.
That is a restricted area.
It's an emergency. Don't you realize what's going on?
Apollo has the situation in hand. Your registration is almost complete.
Forget it. I'll find my own way in.
With various shaders and also upscaled them, made them look a little bit better for VR.
I wouldn't advise it.
He's gone in, he's disabled certain animations, he's disabled the body. Incidentally, you can turn it on in the configuration file if you wish, but there was a lot of issues, and we'll get into that later on. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I'll see.
Yeah, Ed. So, as you know, Alien Isolation is one of the biggest broken promises in the history of VR.
Huh?
Yeah. Now, we're going way back to one of the E3 shows. I'm talking, maybe a decade ago, maybe 2014, 15, 16. I can't remember the year exactly.
Some kind of tracker. It's been modified.
Is there a problem?
No problem.
But Alien Isolation was used in the Oculus booth to show off the 6DOF head tracking. So all the way back then, there was a VR mode for Alien Isolation. Now, rumor has it they were supposed to develop it into a full-on VR game, but For whatever reason, most likely funding, it never happened. So this quote-unquote VR demo that was displayed at E3 was as far as they got in terms of development. And it seemed to be lost to us. It was gone. A VR port was never talked about, never discussed, never released. All we had to go on was some footage from E3, and yeah, it was a broken promise. It was one of those things that stayed with a lot of us. Now, fast forward a few years to the DK2 being released to the general public, and some industrious modders out there found the code buried within the game. And so, if you had an Oculus DK2 with an old Oculus runtime, it was indeed possible to access this VR mode. And what people realized when they got this at home was there was a lot of issues with this quote-unquote VR mode, which is likely why it was scrapped as well. The FOV was all wrong. You had this kind of weird fisheye effect. There was a lot of issues with shaders, shadows, and aliasing. It was a hot mess, but at least people could experience it. Then, fast forward some time and some Oculus updates later, and it's patched out. It's gone. You can't experience it anymore.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that is until the modder Nibre entered the scene. Now, Nibre is the author behind Mother VR. He dug in deep, got his claws into that code, and he dug it out. He fixed a lot of the issues that were present, and it was a fantastic work in progress. Mother VR was released, you could play it. It got to the pre-alpha stage. Then Nibre went to work on his Halo Reach VR mod, which he called Reclaimer. Also had a lot of potential. And okay, sucks for the VR community, but it's really, really great for Nibre. He ended up being headhunted by Microsoft and got a job with those guys, living his dream. But one of the stipulations was he had to cease development on his mods, which he did. So, Mother VR remained in a pre-alpha stage for many years.
You are entering a restricted area. Please leave.
Let me in. I need to contact my ship.
Sorry, I can't allow that. Ripley, Commander. You have now been locked with Apollo. Welcome to Sevastopol.
There's gotta be another way inside.
Please take a seat and wait for assistance.
And even though it was in its pre-alpha stage, it was still a fantastic experience. The FOV was fixed. You had full stereoscopic 3D, 60UF head tracking. It was great. It was basically a gamepad-only experience. However, Nibre did add motion controls, so you could play with them. And he even had a gesture button in place for the flashlight, where you held the controller up to your head and pressed the button and the flashlight activated. So that was kind of neat, but that's as far as he got in terms of motion controls. Despite all that, many VR gaming enthusiasts will swear blind that Alien Isolation in VR in this particular build was one of the greatest experiences they've had in VR today. Certainly the best VR horror title. Very immersive, terrifying. Loved it. Now, fast forward to very, very recently, and JP, the hero we don't deserve, didn't know he wanted, he's here and should be celebrated. What JP has done is built upon what Nibre did with Mother VR. This grand mod is essentially a companion piece, a special edition, if you will, for Mother VR.
Let me pass. It's me, Hughes. Don't you recognize me? Listen to me. We've got to re-establish long-range communications.
You're becoming hysterical.
Get back! I'm warning you!
Tut, tut. Let's resolve this amicably.
Oh my god.
To go into a game that is a proprietary engine with no SDK available, and to be able to backwards engineer that to get 60UF motion controls enabled is incredible. But he's done it, and the controls are quite intuitive. So you'll have your motion tracker on your left hand, your revolver on your right, and it works seamlessly. You just aim and shoot, or aim and point your tracker, and it works as intended. JP has also gone ahead and enhanced the graphics, fixed a lot of the shader issues, fixed the weird warping effect that would be present when you crouch. That's now gone. He's disabled animations such as when you access a computer terminal, your screen would zoom in, and for people with motion sickness, that was quite bad. So that no longer happens, but there is a bit of a trade-off where it can be hard to read the computer screen. But I'm sure there'll be a middle ground somewhere. At least in the configuration file, you can turn the zoom back on if you wish, so it's easy to read for you. So lots of nice little quality of life additions for VR have been implemented. So one of the things is the body is now invisible. And if you've played an earlier build, you will realize there's a very good reason for that, because the camera tracking does need to be recentered quite a bit. It drifts a lot, especially when an in-game cutscene activates, or say you get attacked by one of the androids or the alien, the camera will kind of spaz out, dudes. It has a mind of its own and you have to recenter. When you have a body enabled, I bet it's nuts. But disabling that body, and you can re-enable it in the configuration file if you wish, but disabling that body alleviates a lot of that. You don't see the jank, basically. It looks nicer. Now, bear in mind this is still a beta version. However, you can go to the link in the description and download it if you wish. The install, it's a little cumbersome. There's a lot of steps to take. It's not impossibly hard or anything like that. It can be done, but I'm sure somewhere down the line an easier install method will materialize. If you want to go ahead and do it, just be aware there are multiple steps you need to take, multiple pieces of software that you need to install at the moment. It's not simply a one-click install. That being said, it's quite simple to do.
Come on.
If you want a tutorial, I can do it, but I'm sure an easier way to install will make itself known sooner rather than later. So it might just be a good idea to hold off for now. But if you want it, the link to the Flat VR Discord is there. You can go ahead, search up Alien Isolation VR, and you will have access to the mod there. Now, I've waxed lyrical about it, so let's go a little bit over some of the things that are not working quite so well. So I did mention the camera kind of having a mind of its own already. Not much we can do at the moment. It is being worked on. There's also the infamous blackout screen. Now that was there on purpose within the game. It already had its own form of positional tracking already, and it had this kind of blinker system where you didn't go too far out. Likely a very good reason that was in place in terms of messing with the camera system, but you will notice that a lot, the camera blanking out when you try to lean or look at a certain angle further than the game wants you to look. Hopefully that can be disabled at some point. When it comes to melee, that's a button press at the moment. It would be nice to have a melee system where collision works, because when you use the gun, it does fire where you point it. So backward engineering that for collision detection with the melee weapon, I would imagine is possible. I don't want to say it's easy, but I would like to see that implemented. That would be cool. Another thing I'd like to see is maybe a holster system. Right now, your motion tracker and your pistol are like a quick select. You press your grip button and there it is, which works great. It's very intuitive, but I'd like to see a holster system. Like imagine putting your hand down to your hip, clicking the button and there's your motion controller, or put the right hand down to the hip, click the button and there's a revolver. It would add to the immersion. It would be pretty cool. You know, reach over your back and there's the hammer tool, or reach into your quote-unquote chest pocket and pull out a flare. That kind of thing. That would be cool. Another thing I'd love to see, if you guys have experienced this game on console, and I mean this was exclusive actually to the Xbox systems as far as I'm aware. Xbox One, maybe 360 had it as well, I'm not sure. I don't think PlayStation had it, but you were able to use the microphone on the Kinect, okay, the peripheral for the Xbox One, and the alien could hear you. Basically, if you made too much noise in your room, like, oh, I don't know, say the phone is next to you on the couch and starts ringing, the alien will hear that. It was a great addition. It was fantastic. Never made it to PC, but I wonder if the code is not still present in there somewhere, and through backwards engineering, if that could be implemented somehow and the alien could hear you through your VR headset. Guys, just imagine you actually have to hold your breath when you're hiding. Oh man, don't sneeze, don't cough. Imagine that. That would be amazing. I'd love to see that. Now, all of those are not critiques. They're not intended to be taken that way. That's basically a wish list of what I would love to see in this mod going forward. But yeah, this is an incredible feat that JP has done. I didn't think it possible to add 60 FPS motion controls to this game in particular, just simply because no SDK existed and it was a proprietary engine. I thought, yeah, it's not going to happen. The most we get is maybe gesture system. But here we are. You have a working revolver, working motion controller, 60 FPS, all works as intended. Yes, there are bugs with the camera, especially when engaging with combat, like you're grabbed by the android or the cutscene triggers. Incidentally, pre-rendered cutscenes are fine, it's just in-game cutscenes tend to mess up the camera. But I'm sure those kinks will be ironed out. It would also be nicer to have a more streamlined install. Right now it's like a three-pronged approach. The first step obviously is have Mother VR installed, then you install the motion controls from the Grand mod, then the button prompt fix, then the shader fix. But it would be nice to have all that in, say, like a bat file or an installer, and one click and done. That would be ideal. So as it stands, it's in beta. If you guys want to try it yourselves, you can. If you do want a tutorial on how to install this in its current state, I'll absolutely do it. Just let me know. It's absolutely worth it, but I would say it might just be worth the wait, just for some of these kinks to be ironed out, you guys. As I say, it's a beta now. It's not really meant for public release just yet. That being said, you can absolutely do it. So that's it. Alien Isolation Grand Mother VR. 60 UF motion controls are a thing now. The game now feels like absolutely a companion piece with Alien Rogue Incursion. They both stand side by side. You can play one, go into the other. There are references to Alien Isolation within Rogue Incursion, so it's nice to be able to experience the whole saga, if you will, in VR. That's kind of cool. Okay, this is Daigo, last survivor of VRified Games, signing off. So I guess we're gonna leave it there, you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any thoughts, queries, any critiques, put them down below. If indeed there are any games you'd like us to look at VRifying in the future, put those down below and we will presumably get back to you eventually. You can also follow us on TikTok for our adventures over there, which are basically condensed versions of what we do over here. And yeah, follow us on all social medias. All links will be in the descriptions, and yeah, looking forward to seeing you there also. Alright, VRified Games out.